Here we go. Sam Hartman, whenever you guys are ready.
Dave.
Where's your ring light?
Not the best, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the corners room. Of course, they have bad lighting.
Why are you in the corners room?
Just trying to steal some tidbits of information. No, I think they just put me in here because I don't know. It's a good question.
There are like notes up there written on Trevor Lawrence tendencies and.
No, they've been playing Hangman a lot. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I can't read any of that.
All right, well, Sam, given that we're 4 days away, as we've gotten to this point, was there ever a point in the last 2 months where you thought that this just wasn't going to happen? Like all the cards were pointing the other way and that you weren't going to get here?
Yeah, I think, for a little bit there was the whole Big Ten and Pac-12 and all those kind of conferences looked like it was kind of over with. And, you see on media, as much as you try and stay off social media and kind of read into things too much, it was hard not to. Everybody's sending you hey, like, are you playing? Like, there's no way, like all this. And everybody's got their own opinions about whatever. But really just hats off to the ACC and, the president and being able to really just kind of take everything very slow and not make any, sudden like, hey, like this is what we're doing. They just played it by their ear, and it was very impressive as a player to see them handle this so well, and to have the opportunity, this Saturday after kind of everything that's been going on in the world and with college football, it's pretty awesome.
They're also given who the opponent is Saturday, and given how forward Trevor Lawrence has been and kind of the push, the hashtag we want to play. Is that something that has entered your mind this week as you get here to game week, or is that just kind of that was, that doesn't really isn't something that you think about,
Yeah, I mean, I think it. I think I retweeted him at one point about just letting us play, but I think it's more just it's another game for us that also has a lot of kind of background to it with College Game Day and them being number one, and obviously our history in these games. And I think we're just excited to get out there and be able to play the game we love, that we've made so many sacrifices this year to be able to play.
Well, Sam, kind of piggybacking off that, I mean, now that you're a few days away, I mean, how exciting is it that you guys are right there? You're about to tip off your season.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I think there's just a million things that could go wrong or could have gone wrong that we kind of survived, and knock on wood, we're going to make it through everything else. And I think it's just really, it's once that first snap hits and, whoever's got the ball first, it's just everyone's kind of going to take honestly a big sigh of, relief that we've made it this far. And there's programs in the country who aren't playing, and programs that, didn't make it, be able to have the opportunity that we have. And so I think it's just all across like our program, you can feel that there's just kind of this excitement building that we have the opportunity to, play college football on a Saturday.
Looking ahead to Clemson, obviously, the challenges of the defending national champs coming in, College Game Day is going to be there. There's a lot surrounding this game. What do you see when you're looking at the tape of Clemson and the challenges?
Obviously, it's a historically now a great program, and they basically just are the epitome of the ACC. And, when people think of ACC football, you think of Clemson. But, you always we just really got to go out there and just win matchups. I think last year was a year of just not winning matchups, and I think our receiving core has just been working really hard, win one-on-ones, and our line has been working good against. They bring a lot of twists. They bring a lot of pressure. And I think it's just going to be one of those games where if, guys win matchups, we'll play well. And if guys don't, we won't. And then it's again, so there's 11 guys on the field and there's 11 guys on us, and it's a football game at the end of the day.
Hey, Sam, this is Aaron Beard with the Associated Press over in Raleigh. I was curious for you, how are you a different quarterback now than when you were first starting games originally? I imagine beyond experience, I don't know if you picked things up more in the time when you were behind Jamie. What's different for you?
I would say a maturity level that's just kind of been forged over, a couple of years of being in the system and going through different things and, learning from 12 and learning from a lot of mistakes my freshman year and, through COVID, doing different things off the field to try and, get a competitive edge over different teams. And it's just a lot of things. I think size is another big one, to be able to take some more hits here and there. Hopefully not too many, but I think there's really just an added level of maturity that will hopefully, do well for me in tough situations and, different game scenarios.
Hey, Sam, I noticed when the depth chart was released today, Nolan Gruel landed himself a pretty good spot on the wide receiver depth chart, kind of tied for that first slot on one of the wideouts with the A.T. Perry. What kind of camp has Nolan put together to kind of rise up through the depth chart?
I think a big thing in our program is just being consistent, and he's been very consistent every day, and so is A.T. I think, really across the board, our receivers have shown up every day and put in the work, which is, it's a hard ask because, I can stand back there and throw and take 3-step drops and show up. And, you're more for me, it's mentally, I got to show up every day, but physically and mentally receivers have to show up day in and day out and really put their body on the line in practice and mentally be there. And it's a tough get, but a lot of those guys have been doing a great job. And Gruel's like a prime example of a kid who's really matured and is handling his business very well.
Has your time playing with Nolan in the past, has that helped maybe with some chemistry between you two?
Yeah, definitely. I know how his, clock works and how he operates, so it's easy to kind of communicate with him and what to say, what not to say. And it's definitely been very cool. It feels like I was talking to Chad Greer a couple days ago, and it was just kind of funny just talking about, different stuff that Nolan and I would, do on a football field during practice. And so it's very cool. We had one of our buddies, Tommy Lawley, who played for Navy last night, was starting. And you got Chase in the mix and Nolan and Kate gone and graduated. But it's one of those things where kind of that legacy and that from Davidson Day, it just kind of keeps on.
Sam, when you play Clemson in the middle of a season, everybody talks about, okay, we've got to take it up a notch. They're a little bit quicker. They hit a little bit harder, all that kind of thing. Now you see in the first game when you guys haven't had as much opportunity to have as much contact or do that. How do you prepare for that? How do you prepare for a heightened sense of what the number one team in the country is?
I think it's just a normal preparation. I don't really get hit at all. I haven't been hit since like Syracuse. Probably, I don't think I got hit in the Pinstripe Bowl. It's same type of preparation, same type of approach. There's a lot of stuff going around in the surrounding this game, and but I think we just go in there with the same mindset. And again, it's 11 on 11. It's tackle football, and once that first snap goes, everybody's just got to be locked in, do their jobs, and hope for the best.
And then the other question I had was, you got thrown into it as a freshman. Things changed the next year. How do you look at things differently watching from the sideline than you do when you were thrown into it right away as a freshman? And how did that help you learn?
Yeah, it's definitely it's cool to be able to sit back and observe somebody. I didn't ever play with John, who was a prominent Wake Forest quarterback here in the Clausen era. And I think that watching 12 do what he did and just, be able to be successful in this offense. And then, it's good to be able to learn from that, like leave from, being a backup and kind of being one, play away. Always you had to be ready, and guys looked at that. And I think it helped me a lot just to know that I got to take every opportunity I can. And every game I played in was just, you're one snap away. And when I got in, was just trying to make the most of the opportunity given.
Hey, Sam. It's Lauren Walsh from WXII. Nice to virtually meet you. Looking forward to the game this week. I'm just wondering, what you've learned about yourself throughout this process, specifically your journey as well as everything that's gone into it with COVID.
I would say I don't do well being by myself for a really long time. I do like to have like social interactions with people. It was nice getting some alone time while it's like quarantining and socially isolating, but I love being around like our team and our program and just being in the facilities and being able to go watch tape and just go into the indoor whenever I want or go get treatment. So that was probably a big thing. And then also just kind of everything, you can't take it for granted. In an instant, you could be sitting in a dorm for 14 days, or you could be caught with, COVID or everything other in between that during this kind of time in the world. So I think it's just, every opportunity, every moment, just taking it with like, a firm grasp and just running with it.
And with the importance of everything you just mentioned, where does football fall into that for you and the level of importance you place on it?
Right now, it's everything. I would say basically everything I do with my life is revolved around this Saturday. I put a very high importance on it since I was a kid, but I would say especially going into this year, it's been everything that I have dreamed about. And, you wake up on a Saturday morning when you're 10 years old and what are you watching? You're probably watching College Game Day and, listening to those guys talk. And now they're going to be talking about your game and, what you're going to do. And so it's very cool. And I think that adds a little thing to it. But again, it's just another Saturday, but I'd say football is everything right now.
Hey, Sam, tell us a little bit about your O-line. You had a lot of mixing and matching and some new blood in there. How are the guys who are blocking for you coming along?
No, Dave, I'm not going to answer that one. No, I'm just kidding, Dave. I'm excited for him. I get to – my center right now is my roommate from freshman year and sophomore year, and we've been kind of together in this whole battle throughout, since my tenure at Wake started. He's been there with me. And then, from right guard and left guard is, two guys, Loic Nye and Sean McGinn, who have, played snaps and played meaningful snaps. And I played with them against Syracuse and Louisville. And then, of course, Zach Tom at left tackle has been, tremendous and one of our premier linemen. And doesn't say much, but I know he means business every time he steps on the field. And then Javiante Nash is just a guy you love being around. He's kind of a goofball. Nobody really knows. If you follow him on Instagram, you realize he's a goober. His stories make my day. Whenever I wake up, I'm hoping I see a Jay Nasty Insta story. So it's a good group of guys, and we got some good guys behind them. And I'm excited for them. It's a big opportunity and a big moment for them, but I have all the faith in the world for them.
Hey, Sam. What 2 or 3 things does a Wake Forest offense need to do in the first 3 quarters of the game Saturday to still be in the game by the time the fourth quarter starts?
I would say win one-on-ones, no turnovers, and then just be as level as we possibly can be. Just no highs that are too high, no lows that are too low. I think it's just got to be a very stoic approach to this whole game and really this whole season, because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs here and there, and things aren't going to go our way every play. And it's just some of the younger guys on our team, we just got to keep them level-headed and keep ourselves level-headed. But I think if that's going on, we'll be good.
When was the last time you played a football game with little to no fans?
High school. I would say Oceanside, we had very, very little fans. I mean, it was like shout out to like all the moms and dads that came to the game, but like I would say there's probably like 100 people at each of those games. Sadly, we played at a park, so it was kind of tough to fill that out. But we traveled, so I'm not going to take anything away. It's just what it is. But it'll be pretty normal to me. I haven't been all my high schools have been small, so it's it's just another middle school football game, I guess.
You had that QB1 film crew following you all around though back then.
Yeah, but that's like 6 guys, so it's 106 was at that attendance of those games then.
Sam, how important is the running game with Kenneth Walker and Christian Beal Smith to get you guys some yards?
It's huge. I think it really those guys have been working really hard, and it's just going to be one of those things where we're going to get them in space, and they got to make some people miss here and there. And again, it's just making sure that we all stay level-headed, and guys are going to, lose one-on-ones, and guys are going to get free, and we're going to have some tackles for losses, but it's just getting the mindset that's just the next play and the next play and the next play. And I think that'll be huge for those guys, and especially in pass pro, is just, they might get beat, I might get sacked, but it's just, hey, let's go to the next one. We got to win this next play, and just keep rolling from there.
Tim, what's the biggest thing that you notice physically about the difference in the weight? I know it's been a little bit of a gradual jump, but it's been noticeable this year, according to everybody. What's the biggest thing you feel physically different?
I sweat a lot more. It sucks. Everywhere I go, I just sweat. But I would say just, I still feel decently mobile, and I guess we'll feel the hits here in 4 days. But I think that's probably the biggest thing, is I still feel mobile, and I just feel stronger, feel more confident being able to run the ball and stay strong in the pocket. But I would say the biggest thing is I just sweat whenever I walk anywhere. It kind of sucks, but oh well.
Perfect.
The long hair might have something to do with that.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. They keep asking me to cut it, but I don't know. I just can't risk getting COVID to get a haircut. So it's just going to be here until, I guess, COVID's over.
Sam, what jumps out at you about most about Clemson's defense?
I mean, all across the board, they have great players, great athletes. They're very well coached. Coach Venables gets them going every Saturday, and a lot of respect towards, his defense, and, just everybody on their D-line, linebackers, safeties, corners are all guys that can play. And they're going to bring pressure, and they're going to be able to cover you one-on-one. And then it's just any opportunity we get to, give a guy a chance with a one-on-one throw will be probably the biggest opportunities for us.
Sam, when we spoke to Coach Clausen a little while ago, he really commended you for the progress you've made. He said with your command, your strength, your weight, and just how you've evolved at Wake Forest. How would you describe your progression as you gear up to start against Clemson?
I mean, I would say I was like a little kid when I first showed up, and trying to get more into my teenage years of retrospect of whatever, my Wake Forest career. I think there's still a lot to grow on and a lot to build on, but I'd definitely say I'm just, excited for the opportunity this year with, the added weight and the knowledge of just, sitting last year and learning a lot. And but I think it's just overall it's just excitement that, you have another opportunity to strap it up, and because I know it doesn't come around often, and when it does, it goes by quick. So it's probably the biggest thing.
Got time for one more for Sam?
Come on, Dave. I know you got one. Come on. Say something.
How easy was I as a grader last year?
Oh, my God. An absolute joke. No, I'm just kidding. He's ridiculously hard. He actually almost tried to fail me. Kidding.
Tell the truth. You got an A.
I did get an A.
I think. Hey, did you get an A? A minus?
I did.
You earned it. You did well. Good job.
Sam.
All right, Pete.
Thanks, Sam.
See you, Sammy.
We'll have Luke Masterson up here for you guys next. Yeah.
Are you starting at running back this year?
How's it going?
Yeah.
What's up, Luke?
How's it going?
Not bad. Are you ready to go? Everybody ready?
I'm good.
I'll start with the same question I asked Sam to start. Luke, we talked to you at 3 or 4 weeks ago, and you told us that every day you go from extreme highs to extreme lows. I'm wondering if at any point in the last 2 months you thought that we wouldn't get here, we wouldn't get to a game week for your redshirt senior season.
I'd say there's a few times that I thought that. I mean, this offseason certainly probably been the most challenging that anyone across the country's been faced with. But for us players, it's just been kind of an emotional roller coaster every week with news of different conferences or different teams not playing or opting out. I think we're all just grateful to be where we're at right now and have the opportunity to play this season.
Even like a couple weeks ago when, NC State's opener gets pushed against Virginia Tech and that makes your game at NC State their opener, does that kind of give you some pause and give you a reason to kind of doubt whether you'd make it to that game?
Yeah, I say really since we started camp, every week we've kind of been holding our breaths, just waiting to see, different test results and hoping that everything would go well. And luckily for us, things have gone really well. And we're kind of at the point now where it's full steam ahead and we're looking forward to a season.
Yeah, so that was going to be where I went next. Did it take anything extra to kind of get yourself going to where you could be full go without worrying and without thinking or having that seed of doubt in your mind where you don't know if you're actually going to be able to do what you're preparing to do?
I think everyone, when we came back, was physically. I mean, we've never taken that much time off of football not being on campus. So I think across the country and at Wake too, it took a little bit of time to get back into the physical shape that we need to be in to play football here. And then obviously the mental aspect too. Just we had a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff when we were away, but the camp schedule is just different. So I think that first week was a little bit of an adjustment into camp, but I think now we're all right where we need to be and we're ready to go.
Luke, thanks for your time. Just your general thoughts on being named a team captain, and how have you kind of evolved into that leadership role this season?
Yeah, it's such an honor. I mean, it's I can't say how much I appreciate that, and my teammates and coaches voted me to be a captain. I think I've been around a lot of great captains around here and great leaders, and trying to take a little bit from each of them, whether it's Cam Glenn or John on the offense. I mean, there's been such great leaders that have come through Wake Forest. So, from my 5 being here, just trying to take a little bit from each one of them, and so that the position that I'm in right now, I can lead these guys.
With losing two redshirt senior corners this year, and Amari and Hussein having graduated and move on, one would point at the secondary as being a bit of a question mark for your team. What kind of position do you think you all are in right now back there?
Yeah, definitely losing those guys hurt. But I think the coaches and us as leaders have done a great job with getting those guys that are going to be playing ready. And, from experience, I think, playing these big games when you haven't played much football is it's very challenging. And I think people don't realize how challenging that is until you actually do it. But I think as a team and all the coaches, we're doing everything we can to get those guys ready so that they're in the best position that they can be when that time comes.
Luke, something Jasir said about that is getting those guys ready, just being more vocal with them and letting them know that it's game versus practice is a lot different. How much have you had to do that as well during fall camp?
I mean, I'd say every day. I think especially since we started prepping for Clemson specifically, I think, we can't – just trying to emphasize to these guys that you can't waste any period of practice. You can't waste a rep because you got to treat every single rep like it's the game, or else when the game time comes, you're not going to be ready. So I think, me, Jasir, Boogie, all those guys on defense have really emphasized that every single day so that, we've been playing really well and we're looking forward to game day.
How impressed have you been with them and their growth over especially the last couple of weeks?
I'm very impressed. I think as a defense, we've taken some huge strides since we started camp. I think we've got so many guys that have come back for their 5th year, 4th year that have a lot of experience. So I think there's really no excuse for us to not play to, the best of our ability. And I think so far we have been.
Hey, Luke. Lauren Walsh from WXII. Nice to meet you virtually.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for the time today. We talked to Coach Clausen, and he talked a lot about cross-position training throughout camp. And you're someone who's been very versatile within the defensive backs. So how would you describe that kind of training? And if you've gone through it, or some of your fellow teammates, as you try to be as prepared as possible with COVID kind of looming here?
I think now more than ever that versatility for everyone is super important, just because you can lose guys, any given day due to COVID. So I think, in the past, I've experienced a lot of that throughout my career, just playing different positions, playing a little bit of linebacker, both safeties, some rover. I think overall, when you do that, it just helps you get a better, understanding of the defense as a whole. And so now, from my perspective, I know what other people are doing, so that helps me do my job. And I know that throughout camp, we've been doing that with kind of everybody, just emphasizing that you need to know different positions, because just like that, you could be playing that. And I think for the defense as a whole, that's really helped everyone understand the general scheme and do their job better.
Is there anybody that knows as many positions as you, though, Luke?
What's that?
Is there anybody that knows as many positions as you, though?
I don't know. I think I play quite a few, but I think, everyone pretty much knows at least a couple.
You talked about training for it. How about from the mental side of it, as far as what you like to do the most? Not necessarily a position, but what you like to do most on the football field at any of the positions.
You mean me personally?
Yeah.
I think now especially I just want to take command of the defense, and I want to make sure that I'm not only doing what I need to do, but everyone else is on the same page, because I think, any explosive play usually it comes with some miscommunication and people not being on the same page. So I feel like it's my responsibility, having known and playing a few positions, that, if I see someone that's not lined up, it's my responsibility to get them lined up.
How much differently do you see things from the different positions? I mean, if you're at a different angle, is it harder to pick up from a different spot?
I think each position comes with different things. I mean, linebacker, obviously you're closer to the line and everything happens a bit faster. So, when I first started doing that, it was pretty challenging just to see everything at once. But I think that's helped me at safety, because now everything's kind of slowed down twice as much because I'm so used to seeing it from closer up. Overall, every position just has different challenges that you have to kind of embrace. And I think, the coaches have done a great job with not just me, but anyone that's had to play a couple of positions, emphasizing those difficulties and coaching them up.
Luke, by my count, you've started something like the 6 games last year at Rover, and then in 2018 you had, I think, 6 or 7 at linebacker. So we got to go all the way back to you filling in for Jesse in 2017 to get the last time you started at safety. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I guess that was the last true start. I think, over the past 2 years, I've gone back and forth within series and played some safety. So I've certainly played my fair share of safety over the past couple of years.
I mean, how different of a football player are you from now to 2017 in South Bend for your first start?
I think the biggest thing is just my mental, approach to the game now is so much different. I'm a lot more confident having played a few positions and played a lot of football here. And, I think, not just me, but everyone that's played a lot of football here approaches the game a little differently and with the confidence that you just didn't have when you first got here.
Luke, how do you balance the spectrum of emotions with focusing for the game, you're playing Clemson, but also the excitement that comes along with college game day and week 1?
Yeah, I mean, college game day is huge. I grew up watching it probably every Saturday when I was a kid. And it was kind of my tradition every Saturday. So when I heard that news, I was obviously very excited. But, in terms of this week, I think you just got to control what you can control. And, you can't get too high or too low. And I think this week you just can't get too high on that excitement. And you got to kind of lock in on what our job is to do, and that's to go win on Saturday.
Luke, obviously looking at Clemson, what are some of the biggest challenges they will present to your defense?
they just got a lot of explosive players, you know, whether it's receiver, their running back, quarterback. They have a lot of explosive plays in every game that you see them win. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is, especially the past 2 years, us playing them, we haven't done a great job doing that. And, you know, containing those explosive plays and making them drive the field is probably the biggest challenge.
How much can you gain from watching film of the last 2 years against them?
A lot. I think there's been a lot of mistakes on my part and on, you know, the defense as a whole. So I think learning from those mistakes and being critical on yourself and critical on, you know, the defense as a whole, I think we've learned a lot the past couple of weeks preparing for them. And I think over these next few days, we're going to pick up a lot more stuff.
I mean, not to be too harsh, but I mean, there's not much of a silver lining when turn on those game films, right?
No, it's definitely hard to watch. I definitely would second that. But I think it's just more motivation that, you know, we haven't played anywhere near our capability the past 2 years. And I think that's encouraging that if we, you know, play to our ability, it'll be fun to see what happens.
Luke, just in general, I mean, when you finally kick off on Saturday after everything that you've been through, man, I mean, just to get the season started with everything, all the questions, I mean, how exciting is that just to know that you're right there?
It's super exciting. I mean, kind of going back to what I said earlier, you know, throughout camp in the past, you know, 4 months, there's been so much uncertainty, and, you know, several times I thought this just wasn't going to happen. And, you know, especially when the Big Ten opted out and the Pac-12, I mean, it's been a lot of ups and downs, and I think we're all going to have a big sigh of relief and be excited to play once we actually kick off.
Anything else for Luke? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Just as an update, we'll have Coach Clemson next at 4 o'clock, and then we'll have those 3 remaining guys, including Zach Tom, at 4:30. He will be the last one. He had a conflict at 3 o'clock, so that's why we're going to be doing them later. Thanks, guys. We'll see you then.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Thanks, Luke.